Okay, so it's finally time for my long-term review of the Viwoods AIPaper Mini. This device has in a very short time become my most important e-ink device. So here we have the Viwoods AIPaper Mini with a case on. This case come with the device when I bought it. I heard rumors about that it's a leather case available soon, and that is a case I definitely want because this is so classy device, so luxurious device. So of course I want this in leather. And who would have known that I would start write again with a stylus or pen? This device has made me write again. I write almost every day on this device because it's so good experience. And this stylus or pen or what you call it is really good. I don't have any experience with different pens and so on, but this pen has made me write every day. I write in my dailies every day as a journal. I'm very date driven, so a journal that is for every day like this is perfect for me, and I can also add tasks to this. So that is awesome for me. And I also write different papers, as you see here. We can, for example, go into my video ideas here. And here we have my long-term review of the AIPaper Mini. And if we go forward, we can add empty pages that you want to write on later. And here you see some notes about the Paper 7 I recently reviewed. And you can go forward with more comments and questions about everything. So this is really nice. Yes, I know I don't have any nice looking handwriting style, but I at least write again. I think that's awesome. So I write different stuff in here, and I also do some pickings. Pickings is excellent for us that likes to read on an e-ink e-reader, because pickings makes that you can save different facts, information, photos and whatever, and you can annotate them with this pen, and you can do real books with all your annotations. Here, for example, I have a pickings with the book I'm reading at the moment, and I have added 3 pages, as you can see here. Here is, for example, I added the cover of it. That's nice to have in the book, in this pickings. So if I go to next page, I see here we can see the author. We can see when it was released and when Sweden translate this book to Swedish and so on. You can see an ISBN number and all that. And you can go forward and you can add different information that you can look up in, for example, Wikipedia or in Google. You can add that to this specific pickings. And you see the name of the picking here, the book name in Swedish. In English, this is Into the Fire. And here we have the author, Rick Mofina. That is the name for this picking that I have set. So I can add different information to these pickings the more I read in the book and look up information, as you see here. So that is awesome to do for me. So for example, if I open this book I'm reading in my favorite reading app here in Sweden, Storytel, because Storytel is a subscription service, exactly as Spotify, also Swedish. So you can use Storytel as a subscription service for ebooks and audiobooks. And ebooks and audiobooks sync with each other, so if you listen in your car, you can read the same book at home, for example. So here we can open that book I'm reading, and I almost always read instead of listening. So it opens on the last page I was on in this book, and here you can see I can read, of course, as normal, as you see here. I can go back again if you know if you want to do that, for example here. And if I want to annotate this page, I can do this. And I can record or annotate or crop. I can crop a specific paragraph, for example, or I can annotate. So I can annotate here. Now I can annotate, I can write test, for example, here. I can do some highlights. We can go to a highlighter. We can set this as medium, and we can highlight this, for example, as an example, as you see there. And now I can save this as a pickings down here. I can also rename it here and type test, for example, like this. Now I can save this as a pickings that I can add to the same book. I show you the same pickings book, my notes about this book in the same pickings. I can add this page. And you can also, of course, make the margins smaller after done this in the pickings. So you can annotate in the side, in the margins of this page if you prefer. So this is how easy it is to do pickings from a book you are reading. So really awesome. And after the latest update from Viwoods, this was even easier, because you can now add pickings setting that you have here. So now this you can move around where you want it and so on. And here you can open this and have all these three options you saw before: record, annotate, or crop. So you can have this open all the time if you prefer that. So that is really nice. And now you also have automatic auto ghost removal. That is also a new setting from the latest update, and that is something that is really good with Viwoods. They do really awesome firmware updates all the time. We get new features, bug removals, and everything from new coming firmwares all the time. I really love the company Viwoods because of this. We get new features, we get better all the time. So this device is absolutely worth it. And as you see, I use this for both reading and making notes. I annotate, I handwrite my thoughts and daily journal on this device. So I really love this device. And also this device is awesome to run co-reader on. It's so snappy, so nice to read books in co-reader on this. So here you can just tap on the display. You see how fast it refreshes the page. You see, wow, how fast this is. I mean, it looks awesome and it's so fast in this. So co-reader runs perfect on the Viwoods AIPaper Mini. So this device has become my daily driver. I have this always with me at home and even at work. I use it daily at work too, adding my thoughts and comments and notes at work too. So this is an awesome device for me because I use it for home, I use it for work, I use it for pleasure, I use it for reading, I use it for work and everything. So this is an amazing device. And also, the battery life is totally freaking awesome because this runs on Android operating system. And all other Android-based earrings I have has a quite terrible battery life, and not in a terrible way as a smartphone or a tablet, LCD tablet, but they have at least 3 days, maybe 5 days in battery life. But this is amazing because Viwoods have made it so locked down, so you can't do as much. You can't. They have removed a lot of stuff that runs in the background on this device. It doesn't have so many Google services running in the background, and you have to activate Google Play Store to be able to install apps from Google Play Store, so you are very limited. So for example, a lot of apps doesn't work that needs to be running in the background and all that, because this is a very locked down Android experience, because you should use their own apps for most of the stuff. So by doing so, they have done this device to have so awesome battery life. So I can have this for more than a week, and I use it daily, and I use it a lot. So the battery life is a week or better with heavy usage. So then you can think how long the battery life is if you are a light user. So I mean, this is really awesome battery life. That is one of the best things with Viwoods AIPaper Mini. Another really cool thing is that you can add dark mode in some apps. Yes, I know you can do that on any Android Ink e-reader, but for example here, we can add dark mode. Let's go here and we choose, I don't know what's black here, but I think this is the black version, like so. Now we have a black background, and that is awesome, because one of the huge minus with this AIPaper Mini is that it's too bright. The front light on this is too bright in a dark room. So if I use this dark mode and only have brightness set to 1 in a dark mode, then this is bearable to read, because one of the huge drawbacks with this device is that the front light is too bright. I think Viwoods need to fix this in a coming update. They need to calibrate the brightness settings here. The should be a lot darker than it is now. And you can hardly ever use 20 because it's too bright. So they need to calibrate this. But this set to 1 and have a dark mode is perfect for reading in bed in a really dark room. So without this dark mode, it should be quite possibly that I will not use this for reading if I couldn't do this in some apps. Adding the dark mode, I mean. So with a dark mode, when reading in bed, this has saved me from using another device in the evening. So the dark mode is perfect to have in some of the apps I use, for example Co-Reader, Storytel, Book Fusion. That is the apps I use for reading mostly. Another huge benefit is what I've said already, that is the pen and the note-taking with this pen. The pickings feature I showed you before. This has made my experience reading and writing much more pleasurable, and I really love the way this device is designed. You should use daily, you should use papers. Papers are notebooks in another name. The meeting feature I have no use for, sadly, but some people use the meeting feature as a journal, but I don't. And the pickings I use a lot. The learning feature is their own built-in reading app. I don't use that, but it's quite nice because you can open a book and then I can immediately start writing on the book while reading. So I can do this, like this, for example. I can do this. I can write, I can do whatever. And every time I change the page, it saves my annotation in the book. So when I go back here, this book now will have all my notes that I write. That is quite nice. So the built-in reading app is great for PDFs and EPUBs. If you are, for example, learning stuff, if you're a student, for example, it's great to have PDFs and ebooks here to be able to annotate directly on the PDF itself. And as you see here we have a PDF You see, it's quite small to read a PDF on this, at least for my eyesight, but you can zoom, as you see here, max zoom, and as I said, you can write directly on the PDF and it saves. So the built-in learning feature is great for a student or people that doesn't want to use any third-party app and want to use their own built-in reading app, because you can annotate and write notes and highlights directly on the text you are reading, and that's quite good. And now it comes to one of the greatest thing with the Viwoods AIPaper Mini, and that is this display, the screen. I know some comments on Reddit says that on the screen is terrible because it's only Carta 1000 and my Viwoods AIPaper, the big version, has Carta 1300, much better. But I don't agree with them, because this display has an old technology, Carta 1000, that's right, but it's a new updated Carta 1000 with 300 ppi. So the text is so crisp on this. As you saw, maybe in we can start co-reader again. You see here, it's so crisp. You can't see that probably on this, but the display makes the text so crisp, so it pops up in your face when reading. It's so incredibly great. I think it's hard to see that on video, sadly, but that makes this device incredibly crisp and sharp to read on and also write on. The display is the brightest, the whitest e-ink display of all my e-readers. I have 14 devices and this is the brightest. It beats the Clara, the Kobo Clara, it beats the Kindle, it beats everything I have used before. And also the screen size of 8.2 inch or 8.3, I don't remember, inch is excellent size for reading and make notes for me. I know some people want the bigger AIPaper because they are artists and want to have the A4 size and so on. But the Mini for me is much better because it's better sized for e-book reading. And this 8.2 can't be better when it comes to reading and annotate. And I really love that for this size and the bright display, the crisp text on it, the contrast setting you can set here. You have the contrast setting here. You can set that, as you see, I have set it to 4. You can experiment with this and set it as what you want. And the contrast setting makes the text pop up. When you have found the perfect setting for you there, the text will be crisp and awesome. Another huge great plus with this is the fingerprint sensor. It has the fingerprint sensor on the top, as you see here, there. And I really love that because, as I said, I write on this every day, and my daily journal and my personal thoughts and everything. I don't want any other to read that. So I want to have this a private personal device as a journal or something that you carry with you for many years. This device need to be private. So that is a perfect thing to have, the fingerprint sensor. I really love that I have added a fingerprint sensor. That is brilliant. And as I said, this stylus, I have no experience of others, but it's an EMR stylus. I have no experience or knowledge about different pens, so I can't say that this is better or worse or so, but it has a button here that you can use for erase. You can also use erase on this top here. So for example, if we go into papers, we can do a new paper. We can choose we call it test, like so. We can use different templates here. We can choose the default template, an empty page like this. So now if I write on this, I can turn this and I can erase with this stylus, or I can do this and I can put this button and erase like this. It would be cool if we would make this programmable for any feature you want. For example, turn this into the calligraph pen or something. That would be nice to switch different pens maybe or something. But now you can use it as erase. That is brilliant, I think so. And it's also brilliant that we have a real little storage for pen and nibs. You have that in this little storage here in the cover, in the case. You have pen nibs, you see. It doesn't zoom here, sorry. But you have, I think it says 3 pen nibs there in this storage, so you can carry that with you. If you have this device like this, you see I have added the book cover that I'm reading at the moment on this. It's very easy, just download the book cover from the web and a long press on it and choose wallpaper. So that is what I do every time I start a new book. But this is very light and thin, very, very thin and light. It's excellent to hold when reading if the bezel would have been bigger, because this is too small to hold, sadly, because with these bezels you easily turn pages by mistake, because the bezel is too small when holding it, you saw there. So it's very easy to turn pages by mistake. So that is not something I like. So I would rather have the larger bezels actually, because then I don't need to have this case, this cover with me when reading. I could sit by only holding this reading, because it's so light and thin, it would be perfect. But because of these small bezels, I usually use it in the case when reading, because it's easy to hold it like this, because the bezel is bigger here now, you see, and this side I use this to hold it sometimes, this little pen holder, stylus holder. So that is also some drawbacks, the thin bezels, but otherwise it's an excellent build quality. It's excellent battery life, as I said, and so on. So the last thing that is a minus on this, actually, it doesn't have so much minus because I love this device. The minus they have had in my review here is the front light is too bright and it has too thin bezels. The last third thing that is a minus with this device is that I think some tool menus are too small. For example, let's say we go into this test document we have. Let's open this setting, for example, like this. I can't hardly see what this text is because I have some vision problem. I have reading glasses when reading. So if I want to switch to another here, I can hardly see what it says. It is here because I think the text is too small. I hardly see what it says down here and so on, because I have some vision problem. I reading glasses, but not all are like I am. But I would have some settings for this, so I could have larger text in the menus. But yes, I think the menus would probably be destroyed and doesn't look so good with larger text. But this sized menu option could be bigger. and you could have larger text for those users like me that needs that. And I said that this was the last minus, but that is actually one more, and that is no settings for screen refresh. You have 3 screen refresh options here: best display, fast mode, ultra fast mode, and the only option you have is auto ghosting removal, and that works great and so on. But I would want to have a setting for every app if I preferred that. I could, for example, in Storytel say that it should do a full refresh every 15 pages or so, 15 tabs. That would be awesome to have, like on a books device, for example, or a BigMe ink reader. You can set 15, 20, then you should do a full refresh. But with this latest update with auto ghosting removal, you hardly need to refresh whatsoever because it do that for you. But sometimes when you open an app like this, it sometimes has some ghosting, but not much. As you see here, we have a lot of different apps open and you still don't see any ghosting. So I think the auto ghosting feature works great. And I only use the second fastest here, the fast mode, not the best display, or the ultra fast mode. Ultra fast mode, you get a little more ghosting and not so sharp text. But fast mode is perfect, I think, for this device. So I hardly never use best display. Of course, you could use best display if you're sketching something or other stuff that you don't do so many page turns. But if you're reading a book and want at least quite fast page turns, I think you should do the fast mode, as you see here. This app is very heavy, the Storytel app, so you need having fast mode. But if you go into co-reader and you see how fast this turn pages, maybe you can use the best mode instead, like this. Now it turns pages incredibly fast still, as you see, really fast. So co-reader runs so good on this device that you don't need to have... You can have the best mode, definitely, when reading in co-reader, as you see here. Works so great. And the sharp, crisp text and everything. This is awesome. I really love that. Too bad you can't see that on this video, but it works so great. And now, if I open Storytel, you will see how slow it will turn pages. As you see, because I have the best mode here. Maybe you will use that anyway because it works, but it's not as fast mode, so I prefer having this. So I think that was everything for this video actually. This is a long-term review of one of the best e-ink devices I have ever used. And I'm so happy with this device, and I think this will be a device for me that I will have for a very long time and use every day. Hopefully I can store all my notes on this and all my pickings and have this device for many years forward. But it only has 128 in storage, so that is something you have to think of. And automatic syncing to Google Drive is awesome, because then I can open all my papers, for example, in Google Drive on any device. For example, here, when I do this video, I actually have my review notes, my long-term review notes of this AIPaper Mini on my iPad here, so I can read my notes on my iPad. That is from Google Drive, and it syncs with this AIPaper Mini. So if I update this review notes, I will see them on my iPad, and that is awesome, really awesome. So it does an automatic Google Drive syncing, and you can also do a manually, and that is awesome for me. So, but after a while I will not have any more storage left, because it only has 128 GB and no SD card slot. So We will see how many years this can be useful, but I also think how hard it will be if in the future Viwoods will release an AIPaper Mini 2, and I would rather have that maybe because it's so much better and so on. Even as this is a perfect device, maybe I want a new in the future. How will Viwoods solve that? Will they transfer over everything, my daily journal, my notes, my papers, my pickings, everything to the new device? That would be something I would know before I bought a new updated AIPaper Mini in the future. But as it is now, I think this is amazing. You can buy this device on Amazon, even here in Sweden, Amazon Sweden. So that is nice. The AIPaper Mini is available there. And also the larger AIPaper. But the larger AIPaper is too big for reading, what I think. It also doesn't have any front light, so you need to have great light inside. But the AIPaper Mini is smaller and great for reading and have a front light than when you need it. So I think that's great. Okay, bye.